All right, everybody, welcome back to the Friday night pre-party show. It is good to see everybody. I saw some people gathering in the chat, and we have an interesting one for you tonight. One thing about 2024 and 2025 is there is no shortage of topics for us preppers to cover. I mean, wow. There's always, like, I don't even have to struggle to, like, what am I going to talk about this week? It's just right there when I turn on the news every morning. What is this crazy frog brigade up to? We're gonna talk about that. Whether you are a peaceful frog brigade person or you are a Q shaman, or you're somebody who lives in the area and you just want to go about your business, we have some tips for all of you tonight, actually, because one thing we've always said here on our channel is whether or not I agree with what your statement is or what your beliefs are or what you're trying to say, as long as you're being peaceful, I support your right to peaceful assembly. And that's the message that we're going to begin and end with tonight. But sometimes things, the best laid plans of frogs and shaman, do not go according to plan. And there is definitely the possibility that things could get sideways tomorrow. We're going to talk about what to do if that happens, whether you're one of the protesters or you just happen to live in the area or you're a counter protester or you run a business in the area. We're going to try to cover it all. All right. As usual, we do ask everybody to be respectful in the chat to each other. This is not the place to get into a big boneheaded argument about it. I have people on both sides of the aisle with this that come here, and I've always said whether you're left, right, or purple, I will teach you prepping if you're here to learn. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep that as I'm trying to keep it. Gonna hope that we can keep the chat as civil as possible. Please be respectful to the mods, and always no racism, no sexism here. We do not allow that. If you do, you might get a warning from a mod. They have full permission to kick you out. And any comments that come in afterwards, I usually go in and read all the comments, and if you leave something stupid like that, it's going to be deleted. If you do it repeatedly, as a few boneheads have in the past, I will just block you from being able to comment altogether. I don't want to have to do that. I like free speech. All I ask is that we be respectful to each other, right? All right, cool. Now, I have a poll going at the top. I want you to go and vote in the poll if you're here tonight and you're in the chat, and I will check that at the end. I'm also running a challenge. Let's talk about this challenge here for a second. So between now and when I do my end of the year live stream, where I usually do some giveaways and things like that, I'm going to try to raise a little bit of money that I can add to that giveaway, right? So the challenge is, if we have 10 of the yellow super chats, that I will wear a frog pajama costume for that end of the year stream. In fact, I will show you what this thing looks like. It is ridiculous. I will wear that at the end of the year live stream when I do the giveaways. If we do 10 yellow super chats, those are the $10 and above. All right. If we don't get to those, then whatever super chats we do have, it's just going to be money, really, honestly, that's added into the end of the year giveaway anyway. So the money kind of goes back to the community, except for, the chunk that YouTube takes. So just a fun way to kind of see if we can get a little bit more interest going in these giveaways for the end of the year. What else? Next week is going to be, I'll have a Friday night live stream next week. And then after that, the next 3 Friday nights will not be a live stream. I'm almost always live on Friday nights, so I know this is going to throw some people off. I will have some videos coming, and whether it be shorts or long form, I'm doing my best to try to pump up a lot of content right now, so I'll have some stuff going on. But we've got the Friday, the 31st is Halloween. A lot of people are going to be doing stuff with their families for that. They'll be going to parties, things like that. So I'm not going to stream on Halloween. I may have trick-or-treaters here so I won't be able to do it anyways, because my spouse is working. The next week after that is Georgia Bushcraft, and I don't get a fantastic signal from Georgia Bushcraft. If I did, I would live stream from Georgia Bushcraft for you. Can't do it. And then the week after that, I have something going on with my lovely wife, Mrs. Sarge. So next 3 Fridays, I will have other content for you, not a live stream. And then I'll be back mid-November, and we will be rolling all the way into the end of the year, where we finish out with our end of the year giveaway stuff, and we set some goals for the following year and things like that. Okay. So hard to believe, y'all, but we're already like in that stage where we're planning all the end of the year stuff. I have to like think carefully about my content now because there's stuff I have to get out for brands and things like that. Speaking of brands, let's go ahead and get the sponsorship out of the way. Tonight's video is sponsored by AppMax. Let's go ahead and show you their website. Bear with me here just a second. Uh-oh, what did I do? That wasn't the one I wanted. Stop screen. There we go. Okay, now we do share screen. Cool. We can do this. We're professionals. All right, cool. AppMax. AppMax is my choice for silver and gold. They have been a fantastic sponsor for this channel. Folks, if you've been following what's going on recently, gold and silver have exploded. Look at this. Follow my cursor over here. Over in the top left, we've got gold at over $4,000 per ounce and silver at over $52 per ounce. This is crazy. All of a sudden, you know, these precious metals, they stay dormant for a while, and then it just exploded. This is partly due to concern for the value of the dollar, of course. As you can see, there was a little bit of a pullback today. So if you've been looking for like a pullback as your opportunity, you want to get in on silver and gold, this might be the day tonight or tomorrow to get in on this, right? Because we don't know. Monday morning might come and this starts going back up, okay? Financial markets are like that. It's really hard to predict. But this is AppMax. I'm going to run the link down the bottom of the screen for the stream. And of course, I've got a clickable link in the description. Make sure you check them out. This is for getting all your gold and silver delivered directly to your door. Thank you so much to AppMax for sponsoring this video. We love you. All right, let's stop sharing that. Cool. And let's roll their banner because they have been so good to me. Let's see. Well, there we go. All right, there's your clicky link is going to roll down the bottom. Let's go ahead and check comments, and then I think we're ready to get into this one. All right, comments. Just want to say hi to everybody that came in. Appreciate everybody. I know I saw Radio Free Paris. Donald Hout, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us again. D-Man50, always good to see you. Cold War Prepper Lee, appreciate you. And Virginia Bushcrafter helping out with the moderating. You guys are awesome. And I'm going to be reaching out to you guys. You guys know I like to do a little something for the moderators at the end of the year as well. So keep an eye out for an email from me, okay? Sometime between now and like mid-December probably. I'm going to try to get that taken care of sooner rather than later. Tuck by V, thank you for joining us. Coffee First, Then Speak, thank you for helping with the moderating. Appreciate you. Rural Report, it's good to see you. Hope you're having a good night. All right, rolling right along here. Vision Preparedness, yeah, good to see you, buddy. How you doing? God is great. Titus joining us all the way from Japan. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. 10 super chats in this live or 10 chats from now until the giveaway. That's for, let's try to see if we can get it tonight. If we don't get it tonight, I'm willing to consider letting it roll on all the live streams from now till the giveaway, or like 2 weeks before the giveaway. So I'm willing to let it roll till mid-December. Let's see if we can get it tonight, though. Again, this money's, except for the purchase of the frog pajamas, is going to go back to the regular core audience that's here every week anyways. That's the goal anyways. Chrome Dome Omega was going to vote in the poll, but option of fire, but most will be was available. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Maccabeus, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. It's always good to see you, man. All right, scrolling. Lazarus Long, how are you doing tonight? Kentucky, it's good to see you, brother. Wayne's good to see you. Thank you, everybody who's been moderating there. I appreciate you guys. Awesome stuff. Maybe to go out. I don't think they could shut it off. All right, cool. Everything will get the October food stamps benefit everybody. Okay. Oh, thanks, Rural. Rural's going to get the ball rolling. Guys going to make me wear that stupid costume. I love it. I'll do it for you guys. Uh-oh, got a problem with the camera there. There we go. Cool. All right, let me mark where I left off. Let's get rolling on this. I don't want to keep you guys here all night long. All right. So let's start with protesters. If you're going to the protest, please, again, I fully support your right to peaceful assembly, even if I don't agree with whatever it is that you're protesting. And this goes for people on the other side of the aisle too, the counter protesters too. Please be peaceful. Yeah, you should know your rights. You should know that most people who are on Twitter and TikTok who are claiming that their rights are being violated are not actually, they don't understand their rights. Like usually when you are given, when there's a protest going on, you're given a permit by the city, which means that there's a designated area and there are rules. It doesn't mean you can just go wherever you want. That's not how this works. Even our constitutional rights do have limits. Okay, just know what those are. I would carry a digital and paper copy of your lawyer if you think things are going to get crazy, and your emergency contact. I would carry your health insurance card because these things do get crazy sometimes. Do not block roads. I'll say this again. Do not block roads. Do not block roads. Do not block roads. This is the dumbest form of protest that you could possibly do. Your life matters. I actually do really care and don't want to see anybody get hit by a vehicle. I work with first responders who have described to me what happens when a pedestrian gets hit by a vehicle. You are not going to be some hero that has a TikTok channel like, hey, I was the guy. No, you're going to be in a grave and you're probably going to have a closed casket. Your family's not going to be able to do an open casket because when the body gets hit by a moving vehicle, it basically comes apart. Sorry, guys. Not trying to be gross, but that's what happens a lot of times. And your life matters. Please don't protest on the road. It's a dumb way to die. Nobody's going to remember you. I promise you. I can't name one person that was that's been hit by a protest, that's been hit by a car or truck. People don't remember you. It's a dumb way to die. And if you think, oh, I'm dying for my cause, whatever cause it is that you're protesting for, you're going to do much better for them if you stay alive. Okay, so don't become a road pizza, as we say on this channel. If you protest in the road, you might become a road pizza. Don't be a road pizza. Be smarter than that. It's not a bad idea to think about. Don't go to a protest in flip-flops or Crocs or open to chance sandals. If things get really crazy, you might have to run. I would say don't wear high heels either, right? Yes, hydrate, bring water. If you think things are going to get wild, then I hope you have a gas mask. I recommend mirror safety. I've got links for that in the description down below. If you think there's going to be tear gas and pepper spray and things like that. Charge up your phone before you go. Make sure it's fully charged. Have a buddy system. Stay with your group. Be calm. Be respectful. If you think your rights are being violated, listen to me. This is really important. If you think your rights are being violated and the police are already like grabbing you and putting you in handcuffs, that is not the time to argue. You're not going to win. You ask a friend to record it and you make your fight in court. You do not fight it out on the street. You will lose. You do not do that. Document if you see other people breaking the law, record it if you can. Be a good witness. Make sure you know the jurisdictions in your area regarding wearing masks or furry costumes or whatever it is that the kids are doing these days. If you bring a weapon or anything that could be conceived as a weapon, know that they're going to be paying very close attention to you. And if things go bad, you're going to be one of the first ones that gets targeted and dragged in. If there's an organizer, you should listen to their instructions, unless they're telling you to break the law, in which case you should probably ignore them and get out of there. All right. Have exit plans. Make sure you know your routes out if you're going to be there and things go crazy. Avoid getting pulled. Try to be on the edges of a group if you're going to be there and things start getting a little bit frantic. You know, the energy in the crowd is vibing in a way that people are getting kind of agitated. Start moving your way to the edges of the crowd. You don't want to be caught up in the middle there. Again, stay with your buddy. Have a fallback point for you and your group. If we get separated, we're all meeting at the Burger King over here, whatever. If things get really crazy and you can't get out of the area, calmly and politely ask a shopkeeper if you can take shelter in there, or maybe somebody's got a car. Can I shelter in your car? That kind of thing. All right. Again, we don't support violence here on this channel. If that's your plan, this is not the right channel for you. Bye. Okay. All right. Before I go on to the next part here, let's check comments and chat here. Let's see what people are saying. All righty. Let's see. Coffee first. You're awesome. You are awesome, my friend. Thank you. Burpee Yoga Uncle, how are you doing tonight? Thank you for joining us. T-Board 101, how are you doing? Yeah, Donald, I'm going to put your comment up there. I think we are in trouble here as a country, between the divide and the economy is really, really shaky in some ways. The stock market this week was like bananas, up and down. Literally every time the president spoke, like the was massive movement in the stock market. Look what gold and silver are doing. I am very worried about AI, starting to really push people into unemployment. Earlier this year, 11,000 people were laid off by Microsoft and replaced by AI. Who did I read? Somebody else was replacing a bunch of AI, jobs with AI. That was on the news today. Sorry if it comes back to me. So I'm worried about all that, and it could look like this scene behind me at some point. These big corporations with their plans to, like, we're going to save so much money by downsizing and switching all labor to AI and automation and robots. What they're not considering is that, like, if we get to a certain level of unemployment, it's going to look like this. People are going to lose their minds because their babies are going to be hungry and they're going to get violent. It's not going to be like the Great Depression in the 1930s. People are going to get violent. And who do they think they're going to target? They're going to go after the rich. They're going to go after the heads of companies and things like that, that they are going to be blamed for putting the country in that state. My personal opinion, and I usually am not going to be somebody who advocates for the government to interfere in private businesses, but I almost feel like that's not going to happen, but I almost feel like we need legislature that says, like, a company can only replace like 5% of their workforce per year with AI, so that it's like not this like massive amounts of people at the same time are suddenly unemployed. That it's not going to happen though, because these corporations line the pockets of the legislators, and so the legislators are going to do what the corporations want. Corporations want to save money, and they see AI as eventually saving them tons and tons of money. So we're in this weird downward spiral that it's not looking good. Is it definitely going to end the way that I'm saying? No, hopefully not. But it's getting hard to see different outcomes out of this. You have no right in social media. They're private platforms. You're talking about free speech? Yeah. That's so, Burpee Yoga Uncle, I don't want to get too far down that rabbit hole, but my personal opinion is that I think that needs to be looked at as well. That social media is the new modern day equivalent of town square. And so I think we need some new protections for free speech on social media. Now, that's just a personal opinion. I'm not a legislator. You're definitely allowed to disagree with me, but that's how I see it. Lee says he voted mostly peaceful because that's kind of the joke, right? Is that when the media call or a politician calls it mostly peaceful protests, it means it looked more like this. It wasn't mostly peaceful. Yeah, that's interesting, right? And also, like, here's the other thing. I'm not a lawyer on this stuff, but my understanding is that, like, AI images. So this background here is an AI generated image, and my understanding is that AI generated images falls into public domain as well. So I don't own that picture back there, right? That's my understanding, unless it's changed, but I don't think it's changed. Ooh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Exactly, bacon. I don't want to see. I don't want to hear in the news tomorrow night that somebody became a road pizza. I really, whether or not I care, I agree with your politics. I care about people, and it's just a dumb way to protest to block a street. There's so many more choices that you have. Don't be that stupid. Like you are like really low IQ if you think that that's the best way to get your message across. Sorry, be smarter than that, and I do care about you. I am very, yeah, I know what you guys are saying about the government shutdown. I'm very worried about that as well. Hang on one second. Let's see if I can straighten that out. There we go. That's the other thing. So, what Mac is saying there in chat, people, if you block the road, because there's been many incidents now, and if you're on Twitter X, you've seen them because they don't censor it like they do on the mainstream media. You actually see things that are going on in the world on Twitter X, which is one of the reasons I'm on that platform, even though it's like the wild west. You people are in these protests blocking the roads and then dragging pedestrians out of their car in some cases and beating them to death. So if you block the road, people might think that you're mean in imminent harm to them and their bodily harm to them and their safety of their family, and they may react accordingly. So that's another reason why it's a really bad idea. It would be like pointing a realistic looking pew 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 squirt gun or something like that at somebody and thinking, well, it's their fault that they shot me. Like, well, if you point a realistic looking squirt gun at somebody, they're going to assume it's a real gun and they're going to react accordingly. If you are surrounding somebody's car and banging on the car, especially, they're going to get freaked out and they might react in a way that's going to end up causing harm. So just don't do it, guys. There's better ways to protest than that. That is like the worst, stupidest, dumbest way to possibly protest. I know I'm going to have to hear stories about this on the news tomorrow. It's going to break my heart that some young person decided to block a highway and got slaughtered, and it shouldn't happen. And it's avoidable. It's avoidable. You don't have to die that way. That's it. Tibor says it right there. So if you're in one of these situations and you start getting and a police officer or ICE or somebody grabs you and says you're being detained, do not fight. Okay, do not fight. You're not going to win. You need to comply, register your complaint loud enough that it can be on people's phones and stuff like that, but comply, go along with them, and then fight it later on in court. You will not win on the street. So please, I mean, there's a lot of people out there thinking like they know their rights, but it doesn't go that way. I'm going to be doing a video about that, Donald, in a little while. I'm going to try to record that one this weekend. So I may have that up, not this week, but next week, about kind of talking about that again. Yeah, so apparently, so I did a lot of reading about this week, Chrome Dome. So the inflatable animals thing, or the furry costumes, or whatever it is that the kids are wearing these days, they're trying. The message that they're supposedly trying to say is like, we're showing that it's ridiculous to call us violent. Okay, now, realistically, yeah, Portland has had some pretty violent protests. We all know this. If they want to change their ways and now be peaceful protesters, we should welcome that. And I'm going to hit on this again at the end. Okay, we should welcome peaceful protest. That's something that, whether or not we agree with them, I think that if people want to exercise their constitutional rights in a peaceful way and are following the laws, and if they want to wear a furry costume or they want to dress up as a shaman, I don't care. Have fun. Do your thing. If it looks ridiculous, okay, whatever. But if that's, as long as you're being peaceful, really is all that matters to me. if you start doing stuff like this, I'm not going to support your cause, no matter what it is, which is not. It makes me, that's the quickest way to get people to not want to support your cause, actually, is when you start burning things, breaking into buildings, looting, assaulting innocent people, vandalizing. That does not help your cause. It actually makes people not want to support your cause. Maybe that's your goal. Maybe you're just an anarchist and you want to see the world burn, but then don't try to claim that you're trying to raise awareness and change people's minds, because that's not going to do that. Who would go to these things? Well, I mean, I wouldn't, whether it was for an issue that I strongly agreed with or not. I will fight those things in other ways now. As I've grown older, I've grown wiser about how to raise awareness, change people's minds, things like that. When I was 20 years old, if there was something I was really passionate about, I probably would have went to one of these things. But I went to school when I was in college and in grad school, those ages. There wasn't a lot of big hot button issues going on. Like, I was lucky in that regard, and that it was a pretty peaceful time, for our country. So, high school, there was a little bit. That was when George Bush Sr. Had gotten us involved with Iraq the first time. And there was a little bit of people that were like upset about that. And there was some of that activism kind of stuff in my high school. There were people who were doing that kind of thing, but it wasn't like what it is today, And then once we withdrew, was that Desert Shield, Desert Storm? Once we withdrew from that, like, we had a pretty long period of peace. That period of peace, which was, essentially the 90s up till 2001, September of 2001, I was in college and graduate school. So there wasn't a lot of this kind of stuff going on, at least in the United States. There you go. Wayne said it. Your idiocy can make you pick up a felony. If you assault a cop, you're picking up a felony. You assault an ICE agent, you're picking up a felony. Better to just go along and fight it in court. No Burger King's Day. Yes. Virginia Bushcrafter. I kind of agree with you there. I do still like to go to an occasional concert or sporting event, things like that. But Mrs. Sarge and I, we generally are going to buy tickets towards the edge of those crowds now. Anyways, again, like when I was younger, I liked to be right up in the middle of that, right? Like at a metal concert or whatever. I wanted to be closer to the front and like kind of in the middle and feeling that vibe of the crowd, that group psychology, which we've talked about in other live streams here. That group psychology it's almost like a hive mind that you get. And it feels good, in certain circumstances. When I was in my younger years, I did like that. Not so much anymore. By the way, I'm looking forward to seeing you at Georgia Bushcraft, brother. Yeah, we're on a bad trend, aren't we, guys? Yep. Well said. Well said, Wayne. We'll leave that up there for a minute. No, I don't. I'm hopeful that we will have some kind of resolution before then. I think it's going to end in some kind of compromise. Somebody's going to get something for their state in order to vote. That's usually how these things work. But another way this compromise could land is that they say, well, we're going to restore partial what you're asking for the Medicaid funding, but not as much as it was. Now, remember, the Medicaid funding was boosted during the pandemic, and it was never supposed to be a permanent boost. So the Republicans, our healthcare system's broken anyways. Like, I don't think Medicare or managed care or any of this stuff is the right solution for us. But that's a whole nother, like, we're not solving that this month, right? So the short answer to your story is yes, I think there'll be some kind of compromise before then. Hey, local preppers, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Tammy Harder, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. Howie, how are you doing tonight? It's good to see you, brother. Howie, if things get bad in the United States, we're all coming up your way, okay? If you take all right. Several cities near me expecting mostly peaceful. Yeah. What is a mostly peaceful, right? There's going to be a couple near us, but they're not expected to be big. All right, scrolling along here. I worried of remote court back. Yep. Oh, thank you, Coffee First. Yeah, if you get anything out of value out of this, please consider giving me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to check in the description down below for some links and discount codes that I think you'll find helpful. I'm sorry to hear that, Tuck. Yeah, I mean, pedestrian hit by car is really bad news, and it really traumatizes my first responders too when they have to go and look for body parts and then tell somebody that their loved one was the person was that pile of mush in the road. That was their little kid, or that was their college age student, you know. Yeah, local, the rules on that, people need to check their local laws, of course, on self-defense. That applies for everything, right? Like even in your home, you need to know what the laws in your state are. You know, Wayne, same thing. I don't want to hurt anybody, but if you're banging on my windows and there's a big crowd and I feel like you're trying to drag me out of the car, I'm going to do what I got to do to protect myself. And if I'm on the jury, I'm going to side with the driver in those situations. And I hope there's more people out there that think like that as well. Like, you start making somebody afraid that they're going to be beat to death by a mob, they're going to react accordingly. There's a good one from Bacon. To Sarge's point, or everything that came to around, yeah. Yeah, they're not always so peaceful, right? Like, despite what they try to portray on Twitter and X, these protests are not always as peaceful as they claim. I hope that, they've been saying all week long on Twitter and X that we're doing this. We're wearing these the inflatable frog costumes and unicorns and wizards and witches and all these other things that I've seen on there. We're doing this to show how ridiculous it is to say that we're violent. Okay, so you want to be non-violent. Cool. We embrace that. Show us now. Show us tomorrow. Show us that you're a non-violent group. Let's see how this goes. I don't know why you're not seeing Mac's message. The only thing I can tell you, Kentucky, is if you're up at the top on the chat, you want to make sure it doesn't say top comments. You want to see all comments. But here's what Mac said. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, cool. Let's keep scrolling here. So I got a little bit more. Oh, we're up to 20. We're up to 20. Thank you, Scott Hummer. Appreciate you. All right, so there is a little thing going on up at the top. If I get 10 of these yellow chats, I will wear for the last stream of the year, I will wear this. I'll show you. I will wear this on the last stream of the year when I do my giveaways. If we get 8 more of those, all right. All right, let me stop sharing that. Let's see. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. Yeah, and there's been different cases around the country where people have done what I might have thought was self-defense, but the person was outside their home. They weren't inside the home. Really, please know your laws for your state, because it really does vary state to state. Laura, if I didn't say hi to you earlier, thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Randomness of violence. Yeah. Avoiding crowds is always probably a smart idea these days, y'all. YouTube was glitching this week too. I had something really weird. I was watching a video from rural to IC, and it was, but if you looked at, the part below where it says prepping with Sarge, like how many subscribers, that part said Sassy Gal Prepping. Now, I have you both in a playlist along with a lot of the other people that are in chat, or, so I can like quickly check in on some of my friends' channels. So it was like some glitch, I think, with that, where like I was on her channel and then I went to Rural's, and it was showing as if it was Sassy Gal Prepping's video. It was really weird. Hey, Groovy Pop Tart, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. Modern Refugee, good to see you. Hope you're having a good Friday. All right, scrolling down here, folks. Bear with me. Forget about the murder trial. Yeah. Then and that could happen tomorrow. I hope not. I hope people don't block highways, and I hope nobody gets run over. Contrary to the rumors on the internet, I do not actually kick frogs. Uh-oh. We're up to 3. We're up to 30. All right. That's good. Cool. I got you. I'm caught up on chat. Let's save that spot. All right. So last little bit here. So what if you're a business? What if you have a business in one of these areas, or if you live in one of these areas? Okay. Number one, tomorrow is the big protest day. It won't be the last one. We know that. Stay informed. Pay attention to the news. Know if there's planned protests in your area. Maybe even get signed up on your smartphone for community alerts for your local news. I've talked about that before, why that actually helped us a lot in 2020 when there was protests here. They would actually say, hey, there's some civil unrest going on in the street. Recommended you don't go down that area. So it's really helpful to sign up for those alerts. If you know there's going to be protest areas and you're not part of that, just stay out of it. Stay home, right? Unless you are super motivated to be one of these counter protesters, but my recommendation is you stay out of it. Secure your home. It's common sense. I hope you lock your door and your windows. Yes, I grew up in an era in a safe neighborhood where we didn't really have to do that. Times have changed, folks. Everybody should be locking your doors and your windows. If you're worried about your area and you live in an area that is going to be possibly prone to this stuff, look around your front yard tomorrow morning and bring in anything that could be used to break a window. All right. If you can, move your cars away from the protest area. Cars are easy targets for people when they start getting violent. If things get really crazy, flashlights have some food in case you have to shelter in place for a day or two. Make sure you have a way to charge up your phone if the power gets cut for some reason. Talk to neighbors. Make sure like, hey, are you going to be home? Elderly people especially, do you have everything you need? If there's protesters in your area and you don't need to confront them, don't confront them, right? Stay neutral, stay alive. That should be the good motto for people in this area. That being said, I strongly believe you do have a right to protect yourself. Know your laws in your area. I strongly believe you have a right to protect your business as well. Know the laws in your area. Maybe you need to hire licensed private personal security. A lot of people did that here in 2020 because we had some riots here in my city. And like after the first night, people started hiring personal security at nighttime until things calmed down. Have an exit plan if you have to get out of the area. Which way are you going? And have a couple alternate routes. Have fallback points in case you and your family get separated. This is where we're going to meet up. All right. Bring your pets in, right? Oh my gosh, I don't want to hear about anybody's pets being hurt because their pet got scared because people were being loud with the protest and ran off and then got hurt. Please don't let that happen. Your pets' lives matter too. If you see property damage going on, Take pictures, take video, document it, be a good eyewitness, write down details while it's fresh in your mind, right? But don't get in their face with the camera. Like, try to be discreet, be safe. Document from a distance is the key there. All right. So that's my tips for staying safe. I am very interested to see what happens tomorrow. They've been saying all week long, the Frog Brigade has been saying all week long, we're doing this to show that how ridiculous it is to say that we're violent, we're nonviolent. Okay, show us. Now's your chance. Now's your chance. And if you're nonviolent and you want to get your message out peacefully and you want to practice your constitutional rights, we support that. Okay. Even if I don't agree with everything you're saying, I still support your right to say it. All right. So let's check our chat one more time. And then I'm going to finish this out with a little message for y'all. Okay. All right. Oh, and I got to check the poll too. Got to check the poll. All right. Spoiler alert. The frog costumes are just funny. Yeah, they are. They're so ridiculous, right? Thank you, Prepper for the Ages, for hanging out with us. Coffee wants to know how you know what I wear to bed. Yeah, well, that's up to you guys if you want to do that. And okay, yep, that's going to be interesting. Be careful, Groovy. Hey, Steve, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. All right, it's so strange. Our country seems to have to. Yeah, it does. We're very divided. We're very divided, and I'll go back and I'll say I'll stick to this, that a lot of the divide in this country has been orchestrated by mainstream media. They love the ratings that they get off this stuff. And, we could take it a step further and say, okay, so who's funding them? Because mainstream media, I've talked to people who've worked in mainstream media and they don't work in it anymore because they've said that it felt so unethical that you're literally, in most cases, there's no freedom of the press. You're handed a script. So who's writing the script? That's a good question. That's what we should be. That's the question people should be asking. Who's funding it and who's writing the script? I hope they're not there too, Coffee. You probably can go on and look. Just look No Kings protest in my area, and you probably will be able to see where they're going to be. All right. So we ended up with, let's see. We got three super chats. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to carry this forward. So I told you I'm going to be live streaming next Friday. And then the next 3 Fridays after that, I will not be live streaming. And then we'll have, let's see. Hang on with me for 1 second here. We'll have 1, 2, 3. We'll have about 4 more live streams after tonight. If we can get those 10 super chats by mid-December, I'll do that live stream in the frog costume. I'll do it. And that's when we're going to be doing our giveaways anyway. So we'll make it a fun one. All right. So we have basically about 4 more live streams. If we can get those 7 more. So we already got 3. In fact, I'll write it down so I remember. I already got 3. If we get 7 more, I'll do the frog costume live stream for you guys. I'll do it for you guys. All right. I appreciate you all. Last thing I want to say here tonight is whether or not you agree with what's going on with these protests, whether or not, maybe you're on the complete opposite side of it. Let's let them have their moment to show whether or not they're really peaceful or not peaceful. We will know the answer to that tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is going to answer a lot of questions. They've been claiming on Twitter X that they're wearing these frog furry costumes to be to show people that it's ridiculous to say that there's violence there. Okay, now's your chance. Tomorrow is No King's Day. There's a chance that some idiot somewhere in the country could screw up, but let's look at the trend tomorrow. Right? Let's look how people behave tomorrow and tomorrow night, basically, because it's going to roll into the nighttime too. Let's see how people behave when the lights go down, when the sun goes down. All right. This will then, because then if it's violent, then we have answers to a lot of questions. And this whole concept of, well, you can't hurt me or arrest me because I'm a peaceful little frog is BS, right? So let's see how this plays out. I want to give them a chance. I think we should not antagonize. I would encourage everybody to not go out and counter protest. Let's let them use their constitutional rights, and let's see if they actually can exercise them within the bounds of the law. Right. And I would say this if this was like extreme conservatives too, like as long as you're not looting, burning, vandalizing, hurting people, go do your thing. Go do your thing, but follow the law. Follow the law. Okay. That's where I think we need to, or we're going to start losing constitutional rights, whether it be free speech, peaceful assembly. Right to privacy is pretty much gone already. We already lost that one. Second Amendment's always in danger. If we don't figure out how to exercise our rights to free speech and peaceful assembly in safe, peaceful ways, we will probably lose those. And that's a really bad thing, regardless of whether you're a hardcore right wing or left wing. That's not good for any of us, folks. All right. Folks, I really appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with me on your Friday night. Stay safe tomorrow. Please do not get yourselves involved with any of this stuff. If you have to go, if it's something that's really important to you, then please be careful. Know your exit points and do not break the law. And do not protest in the road. You're smarter than that, okay? Keep planting your seeds. Keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge.